In this video, I'm going to show you how to run your own YouTube ads step by step so you can follow along, and by the end of this video, you'll know how you can run your own YouTube ads to generate high quality inbound home seller leads. Let's get right into it. All right, so before you get started, there's a couple things that you're going to need to do, and they're really simple, so I'm not going to walk through them in this specific video. But number one, you're going to have to set up your Google Ads account. As you probably know, Google owns YouTube, so that's number one. Number two, you're going to have to set up conversions tracking. Now, I didn't share this because this will depend on what funnel building software you're using. I personally use Go High Level, but I've also attached a tutorial in this document below. If you want to get access to this document, just click the link below and enter your name and email, and I'll fire it off to you. Number three, funnel building software. I use GHL. ClickFunnels is also a good option. And number four, you're going to need to have a lead magnet. Now, in terms of building a lead magnet, a lot of realtors already have their own. Chances are, if you have a seller's guide or a buyer's guide, it probably sucks. And I don't mean to be brash, but like really, if you have a seller's guide, what is that? You want to address a specific pain point. So for example, how you can increase the home value of your Calgary home by 5 to 10% in these 7 simple steps before selling, for example, right? And then alternatively, you can also hire somebody off Fiverr or Upwork. That's a great place to get started. You could probably do that for a couple $100. So a couple things that you need to do before we get started. Now on to the actual walkthrough. All right, so here we are in the Google Ads Manager backend. Now, obviously, again, as Google owns YouTube, you're going to run your YouTube ads in the Google backend dashboard. So it's actually a very similar setup to when you're setting up Google PPC ads, except we're doing it on YouTube. So all you're going to do on the left-hand side, assuming you have conversions tracking already set up, you're going to go ahead and click Create on the left-hand side, or click this little plus button, then click Campaign. It's going to load here slowly. I got to select an account. Geez, here, let me select this is my burner account. I don't actually use this, but what we're going to be doing in this case is we're going to be running a leads campaign. So go ahead and click leads. And at the very bottom, you're going to select video. So video is going to be for YouTube. And in this case, you're going to have conversions tracking set up. So conversions tracking is basically telling Google, how do you know what is considered as a lead or a booked appointment, right? So we need to set that up on the back end. Again, I will link that in that video tutorial down on that document below. I'm going to see if it'll let me continue. It will not let me continue, so let me see. All right, I just swapped this over to a client ad account who's paused right now, but you'll see here we have 2 conversions actions. So one is that somebody submitted a lead form, and one is that an appointment has been booked. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Your campaign type in this case is going to be video because, again, we're running YouTube ads, and then go ahead and click continue. So typically when you're naming your campaign, this depends on your specific preferences, but I'll say Lead Gen Pros, Seller Campaign is usually how I name my campaigns. Next, you're going to select a location. So in this case, let's just say we're running ads in Calgary because that's where I'm from, right? So let's go ahead and click Advanced Search. Now there's 2 ways you can actually do your radius or your location targeting. One is, say for example, we're wanting to target Calgary. So you can actually select Calgary and go ahead and click include, and it'll map out like Calgary pretty accurately, right? So you can do that. Or what you can also do is you can select a radius. So if you wanted to select, say Calgary plus a 20-kilometer radius, you can actually do that as well. And one of the reasons you might want to do that is, say you target an area like Chestermere or Conrich, one of these outskirt areas, like say you're willing to drive that far to service a client, you can also do that. So you can do radius, you can do location, or you can do radius and location, right? So let's go ahead and save that. Languages, you're going to leave that as is, so you're not going to select anything in terms of the language. Your bid strategy is going to be maximize conversions. Target CPA you can use, but typically you'll want to do that with a seasoned account that has already been running ads for a little while. So when you're starting out, use maximize conversions. In regards to ad spend, so this will vary, right? This depends on the client. If you're an agency owner watching this, it'll depend on your client, or if you're a realtor watching this, depends on you as well. How I like to think of ad spend is you want to be able to work backwards to say, hey, what is my cost per acquisition? Meaning if I spend 25, let's just say $30 a day, $900 a month, how many leads does that generate? How many conversations do I have? How many conversations turn into a listing appointment? And how many listing appointments does it take for me to close one deal? Once you know those numbers and you know your cost per acquisition, at that point, it'll make sense for you to say, hey, if I have to spend $1,000 to get one deal, now I can spend $1,000 every month, and now I can get one deal a month, right? So at that point, once you know what your CPA is, your cost per acquisition, you'll want to likely increase your budget, right? Most of our realtors with YouTube ads will see a return of anywhere from 5 to 8x return on ad spend. Some realtors are even higher. We've got one guy who's 15x right now, right? So Once you know that number, increase your ad spend. 25 to 30 bucks a day is a good place to start. In terms of the start date, if today is July 30th, for example, you'll want to start in the next business day. So let's just say August 1st. Typically, Google, if you're running this as a fresh campaign, will take 1 to 2 days for a policy review. So keep that in mind as well when you're running your ads. In regards to networks, you can't actually change this anymore. So you'll just have to leave that as is. Site links, leave that as is. But you are going to want to select additional settings, and you're going to want to change the devices. So you're going to set targeting for specific devices only. Chances are you're not going to want to show your ad on a TV screen, because how is somebody going to click that and fill out their information if you're running lead campaigns? And I also uncheck tablets typically too, because how many people are watching content on their iPads or Androids or whatever? Maybe there's a few, but most people are going to be watching from mobile. You can also select frequency capping as well. I personally don't. I know some agency owners do. So frequency capping is basically limiting how many people see your ad in a specific time frame. So I'm not going to cap frequency, but that is something you can consider. And then video enhancements, you're going to want to turn these guys off, because YouTube will crop your videos, and oftentimes they are not cropped properly. So just leave that out just to save yourself the hassle. And now we're going to get into the ad group targeting, right? So this is kind of like the secret sauce, right? Let's just say purchasing a home soon. Let's just say homeowners. Let's leave it at that. So in regards to testing audiences, most algorithms these days, like we've ran Meta ads for 5 years, Google ads for the last year, they're getting really good. So you don't have to get as specific as you once had to. Oftentimes, if you leave your ads broad, Google will try and find the right person. And once they do latch onto that right person, it might take a couple weeks, might take 2 to 4 weeks. But once your ads are optimized, Google is really good at finding the right person to show your ads to. So in terms of our audience, if we're trying to generate seller leads specifically, what we can do, and I've tested a couple different audiences here, but one I'll do quite frequently is let's just do a new audience. Let's just say LGP homeowners, right? You can go to interests and detailed targeting, and Google has these pre-built ad sets basically where they know who is in the market to buy a house or who's a homeowner based on their search history. Scary, right? Cool for marketing guys like us though, right? So what we can do here, let's just target homeowners. So in this case, let's just show our ad to homeowners specifically. And another ad set or another piece of targeting that you can add as well that sometimes works well is purchasing a home soon, right? Now, why would you want to add that? That's because, hey, if somebody's considering selling their home, they're probably in the market to buy as well, right? So if we can get a realtor two deals out of one, right, where hey, they're selling and buying, that's amazing, right? So this is some targeting you may want to use. Alternatively, you can just do homeowners specifically as well, and that's it for this specific audience. We as an agency, we do have 5 or 6 different audiences that we test, but for the purpose of this video, homeowners is perfectly fine, and it's a great place to start. Optimized targeting. You can split test this if you want. I personally have not seen success with it, so I always uncheck it. Use that at your own peril. So now we're actually creating the YouTube ad itself, right? So in terms of the targeting, we actually did the hard part already. All you would do at this point is you would paste in a link to an unlisted YouTube video, and I'll do that real quick here just to walk you guys through it. So I'm on my own channel here. Now let's just say, for example, let's just say this was an unlisted video, right? So I'm going to grab the link here. Let me just copy that. Let's see if that works there. Perfect. Yeah, I rank lead gen strategies in this video, and I talk about YouTube being one of the best ones, so go watch that if you haven't already. But here's what you're going to do, right? So copy that link in, and this is going to be your ad. And of course, it says videos longer than 3 minutes don't usually perform. That is definitely the case. Your video is going to want to be, again, below 3 minutes, ideally probably around that 2-minute mark. But for the sake of illustration, that's what shows up. Now, the final URL. So this is going to be the link to your actual landing page. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and paste a couple landing pages, and I'll fill out these headlines in the description here as well, so you kind of know what to fill in there. All right, so here's an example of one of my old funnels that I don't really use too much anymore. I need to revamp that, but you're going to paste that in here. Now, display URL is just going to be whatever the person's going to see, right? So you name it whatever your guide is. So let's just say free guide. Call to action, typically in most instances, learn more is going to be your highest performing CTA, just because it's just so low, like low friction, right? Learn more. It's not really saying, hey, buy this or purchase now. It's just literally saying, hey, learn a little bit more, right? Headline. So in this case, let's just say this was a seller's guide. If you're watching this, you're probably a realtor, again, or an agency owner running ads for a realtor, right? So let's, you know what, let me actually just do this. I'll pause the video and then I'll paste in the headlines and descriptions that I personally use so I know they work. All right, so I filled everything out here. Headline's gonna be simple, right? Claim your free guide or your free ebook today. Long headline, learn how to sell your Calgary home above list price in under 7 days, or whatever your proposition is for your specific guide, whether it's a seller's guide or a buyer's guide. A description, claim your free guide today. Keep this simple, right? It's nothing too complicated. Really, if your ad shows up in stream, like if you're scrolling YouTube and it shows up, this is what'll be shown, right? Your description, your headline, and your long headline and your headline. So not super important for the in-stream stuff, but keep that simple, right? Now in this case, when you're actually creating the ad, that's literally it. Like Google Ads on the setup side, the technical side is, not gonna lie, a little bit complex, but the actual setup itself is pretty straightforward. If you're split testing multiple creatives on the front end, so you have like 1 or 2 or 3 ads, all you do to add a new video is click new video ad, and you'd paste in the unlisted URL for that. So that's literally it. At this point, all you're going to do is click Create Campaign, and your campaign is essentially live. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you need a hand setting this up, do click the link in the description. We do free Facebook and YouTube ad audits and consults. So book a free 15-minute session. You'll get to speak with myself, where I'll advise you on either what the best strategy is that you should be running for your specific business, or how to guide you through this setup so you can get this going on your own. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.